We've been digging into the early guides and fishermen and sportsmen and women and, Dr. William Seward Webb and Earl Covey, who's sort of a known builder, kind of a unique builder in this part of the Adirondacks. So, yeah, I've done a lot with Ancestry.com, and we've got quite a, family tree, Twitchell family tree, you might say.
From NCPR, welcome to Northwards. People, ideas, and conversations from and about Northern New York, Vermont, and beyond. I'm Mitch Teich.
Support for the Northwards podcast comes from the J.C. Steiniger and M.E. McDonald Charitable Fund at Adirondack Community Foundation in support of the Adirondack Community Foundation, building stronger Adirondack communities. Why are we all here?
And by all, you mean you and me and...
Catherine Wheeler?
Catherine Wheeler is in the studio. Catherine, who are you?
Ayo. I'm Catherine Wheeler. I'm the St. Lawrence Valley reporter, and I co-host Northern Light.
Right here on North Country Public Radio.
Indeed.
Amazing. Well, we have invited you in the studio.
Hang on, I didn't invite her. You did.
Right, that's true.
This was sprung on me, too.
Ethan Shanty is with us. Ethan is the producer on Northwards, and he joins us for these little conversations that we have before the interviews, which we'll get to in a little bit. But first, I wanted to wish each of you a Happy New Year and hope that you've had a wonderful holiday season.
And Happy New Year to you, too.
Did you get any neat things for your holidays?
I did. I got many neat things. I got cold hard cash, which I love.
Nice.
The only thing I care about in this world is cash.
It fit well.
Yep. Right.
Didn't have to return it.
Back pocket. Well, it was all in Turkish currency. Whatever they use.
What is the Turkish currency?
I got this great book.
Is that the dinar? Is that...
I don't know. I just remember in Europe when I was studying abroad there and we went to the Czech Republic, we called all of the money shekels.
Which is also a gum.
Yeah. Really?
No, it's chuckles.
Oh, my bad.
Right?
Yeah, it is chuckles.
Yeah. Mr. Wilson used them as fake teeth in Dennis the Menace.
Isn't that chiclets?
Chiclets.
Chuckles were a gum also.
What the hell is chuckles then?
No, or were they
a clown?
Were they like a? No, there was a thing called chuckles.
Clown?
Okay, wait.
Not the clown.
Okay. Yes,
Chuckles the candy.
I got good stuff for Christmas.
So cash?
I got cash. I got a nice thick book that I just finished the other day. I got this really nice sweater and some socks and underwear from my mom, which is great because
definitely reach adulthood when socks and underwear are a highlight.
Well, she was like, I didn't know what else to get you, and it was like, this was perfect. I need this. All my socks have holes in them, so thank you.
I got socks too, actually.
Yeah, mom's doing what moms do. So the cash helped too.
Catherine?
My parents cut a check instead of giving gifts.
Hell
but
yeah.
my mom did surprise us with a candle apiece and some really nice hand lotion.
Nice.
That I did think I thought I hated the scent of, but I like it.
What is the scent?
It's the lotion brand. It's Crabtree and Evelyn, and it's their scent. It's just there's one.
Who are Crabtree and Evelyn?
These are really nice ladies.
They're a wacky morning show on the All Fragrance Network.
And then they solve crimes at dusk.
You're making some of this up. Which part is false?
Crabtree and Evelyn is a real place.
Crabtree and Evelyn is a brand. It's the hand
they're
lotion.
Not people.
They're her
know.
cousins.
I mean, I got this nice lotion. I got cash. We'll check. And
Cold hard check.
which I deposited
A checkle?
40 seconds after my parents gave it to me.
Oh, did you do like mobile deposit?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Ready to go. And also I got a sinus infection. That's what I
great.
got.
I got one of those too.
Oh, cheers. We can cheers our antibiotics later.
And you, Mitch, other than socks?
Well, one of the things I got was this very nice hat that you commented on in the hallway.
Oh, yeah. I said
before.
support for Mitch Teich comes from this hat.
Comes from this hat, and it is warmth support because it is not only merino wool on the outside, but I will point to you as a fellow bald person, it is flannel on the inside.
Oh, I was about to say, is it silk on the inside? But that wouldn't help either of you.
No, it'd be comfy, but yeah, this I was lamenting the fact that all my ball caps look like baseball caps, which this does as well.
Right.
This is I think it's coffee brown is the color of this, or something like that. Coffee grounds, anyway. And I felt, they all have logos on them, including the Northwards
Right.
logo. And we were going to a holiday get together at somebody's house, and I just didn't feel right about having just a regular old
I see.
baseball cap on inside, and I went with it anyway because I didn't have this hat yet. But I thought this hat looked kind of suitable for nicer occasions. As somebody whose head gets cold.
It's like a
very
dress
easily.
hat,
Or like
a formal hat.
it feels
formal
very
hat.
like casual Sherlock Holmes, like
Ooh.
Sherlock at the baseball game, or
He's down to solve a mystery,
Movie.
but why can't he have a beer and a hot dog too?
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Off duty.
If it weren't for those meddling Crabtree and Evelyn getting in the way.
off-duty Sherlock. That's the look.
So why is Catherine here?
All right. So the other thing I got from my kids, and I'm going to back away from the microphone for just a second. I'm over here now.
Okay.
And I'm disrobing on your behalf.
Okay.
So you don't have to, because I am demonstrating this fine shirt that my children
Deviled
got.
eggs.
It is a shirt that just says
A shirt
Deviled
that says
eggs.
deviled eggs.
and
That's why Catherine's here.
That is
Okay.
why Catherine's here, because Catherine is the deviled egg maven in the at the radio
That's
station.
true.
It can't be true. I've made deviled eggs one time.
But so many people have now read about your deviled egg creation. Like
Why
literally.
have they read about this?
So in my first NCPR daily of the new year, I wrote about how 2026 wasn't really that different, but I'd already made some important discoveries, one of which is that I've been eating deviled eggs wrong my entire life because you introduced me to deviled eggs with candied jalapenos. And we got a response from someone this morning saying candied jalapenos, like with walnuts? And I was like, no, like this.
No, those are candied walnuts.
It's cowboy candy, they call it.
Yeah.
It's cowboy candy?
Pickled, or not pickled, but candied jalapenos. They call it cowboy candy,
Some,
right?
some do. I just call them candied jalapenos because they're basically just very sweet,
Yeah.
pickled jalapenos.
yeah,
Right.
okay.
They're so good. They're addictive. I think this is the food that's going to get me through 2026.
The jalapenos themselves, or the deviled eggs with the candied jalapenos?
the candied jalapenos
Yeah.
themselves.
You're going to put it on everything.
Yeah, I already do. And if there is a run on these things at all of my local grocery stores, I will never forgive either of you.
This is like the same as like sweet hot jalapenos, right?
Yes,
Yes. Okay.
yes.
Because I'm a fan of the Trader Joe's model.
Okay, yes. That is where I first had them, and we don't have one of those here.
don't.
So I did some sleuthing
Well,
in the grocery
we do
store.
in the general universe, because this is a podcast and people
Oh,
could be
true.
listening to it. They could be listening to it while they're walking down the aisle of their Trader Joe's. But yeah.
Well, in Canton, New York, we
They're
don't
not.
have a Trader Joe's. And I have found them at Price Chopper, and I think I'm going to regret saying that. But leave some for me.
I'll edit that out.
Yeah, so yeah, right, exactly. So the funny thing is, I have this shirt that says deviled eggs, right?
Yes.
I do not like deviled eggs.
Is that why you have the shirt?
Well, I think my kids thought it was just funny in general. and I think they are aware that I am not a deviled eggs fan. And Catherine and I were chatting about this. Like, I'm totally fine with the white part of the deviled egg. I actually
Shocking.
kind
That
of
is bonkers to me. That's
So-
the part
Like
you're
the
okay with.
texture of
That's
that,
the
yeah.
most unsettling part.
Well, but that's just the hard-boiled egg.
yeah. I don't like hard-boiled eggs either, except the white
What?
part.
So messed
The
up.
yolk grosses me out, all right? The yolk. Ugh. I was suggesting
It's the least offensive texture in the whole situation.
I was suggesting that I would enjoy a hard-boiled egg with the yolk removed and replaced with nacho cheese.
Which
Okay,
is
that's-
doable.
It's doable,
not
but
even
why
hard.
would you? That's disgusting.
But
So you can dip chips into it. It's like a tiny little
like
chip dip.
a Tostito scoop is what
Like
you
it's-
want
right, exactly. A Tostito scoop made of eggs.
for your protein maxing in the new year.
Okay, come on. That's too fragile a dish for nacho dip. You can't do that. It won't hold up.
Watch me try.
Speaking of shirts,
What goes on this podcast?
I don't know why I just thought about this, but
We were talking about shirts.
well,
that's why.
no, but my dad was a huge fan of deviled eggs. He made them for every holiday occasion. I think our recipe is just like everybody's deviled egg recipe is different, right? That's what makes it so special.
Hence the nacho cheese.
Hence the nacho cheese, which is disgusting. But I realized not too long ago that the photo, this is tying back to T-shirts, the photo that I submitted for my dad's obituary had him wearing a T-shirt that said, "I know Jack," which is what appeared in all of the local papers alongside his obituary.
They didn't black it out.
I don't think so. Of course, when it's in the paper, it's only this big or whatever. But
I encourage you someday to look up baseball card and Billy Ripken.
okay.
But I'll say no more about it right now. but all our listeners should run to their Google machines and type in baseball card and Billy Ripken.
You got a funny T-shirt story, Catherine?
So a couple of Christmases ago, my siblings, my sisters, and my brothers-in-law, we decided that we don't really care about gifts, but we wanted to do something.
Yeah.
And so we did a white elephant exchange, but the theme was
Where do people get all these white elephants from anyway?
you'll find out.
Thank you.
The theme was the ugliest T-shirt you could find.
Oh, amazing.
For $25 or under.
Amazing.
And I made a bootleg wrap tee of pictures of my dad, but only photos that I could find on my phone.
Okay.
And my dad is not someone who takes a lot of photos. So it was like very weird selfies from his like times out in the world. And that was my contribution.
That's amazing.
It is the best thing I've ever done. And the shirt I got back out of the exchange is a pickle, like a large pickle, but with Nicolas Cage's face
Amazing.
kind of animated onto it. And the shirt says Pickleous Cage.
No, nice.
Hell yeah.
I love that shirt.
It's a good
It's
shirt.
so comfy.
You should wear it to work someday.
Who are we talking to on today's episode?
Ethan, we talked about this, I think, on the show in the past. You have a camp, or a place that you and your family like to retreat to.
You could call it a camp.
Yeah, it's a camp.
Yeah.
We don't have a camp per se, but my family, at least the four of us, went for many years to a tiny little cabin on the coast of Maine that we rented for a week, and just for the sake of like the tradition and the community. And
Right.
Catherine, I don't know whether you have a place that you sort of like to retreat to, or it gives you something that you don't get from being in your normal abode.
You don't strike me as a camping person.
How dare you?
I'm not a camping person either.
I mean,
This
I
is a-
camp. I've camped. I haven't camped recently, but I do. I know how. I can pitch a tent. I own a tent.
Okay. My perception was wrong. That's
Don't
fine.
get her going on camp.
I love to camp. I've actually winter camped. That's how
Ew.
good at camping I am.
That's how wrong I was.
I brought a
about you.
cheesecake to that experience too.
Wow.
Okay.
Anyway, the Adirondacks obviously are a place that people for years have been making sort of summer community. And I got an email not long ago from a guy who was involved in the effort to create a website based on the social and natural and cultural history of the community around Twitchell Lake, which is in the southern Adirondacks, not far from Big Moose, actually, if that helps you place it on a map. And I got to looking at it, and it really kind of blew me away at how sophisticated and exhaustive the work was to bring this kind of history together in one place. And it turns out it's a project that a lot of people contributed to, but two of the key people that made it happen are joining us on the podcast right now here on Northwards. They are Noel Sherry and Dan Conable. And Dan Conable points out that actually the website has spurred a book project, or maybe it's the other way around.
I would say, Mitch, that the book is more of a teaser for the website than the reverse, because, we've moved into this age where we can create fairly easily libraries that live on the web. I mean, Wikipedia was the beginning of this, I suppose, in some ways. We can create living libraries that anyone can access, that they can research. And I think what we're seeing is a lot of networking with new tools of information that's there. Now, some people like to have something to hold in their hand, a book, and that's great. It's a defined product that's the result of our work. But I think the real achievement is the website, which we fortunately just managed to go live with. And the creation of the website and the networking, which Noel has been doing, has just uncovered a wealth of material. Noel, you might talk a little bit about some of the interactions you're having with other people who are history buffs about their corners of the Adirondacks.
Yeah, I guess we've sort of backed into starting the interview, I maybe before we get into who came together, first I want to say that the website is a really remarkable achievement. How long has this been in progress?
So Dan and the history committee kind of designated me or asked me if I would take a course with omeka.net. It's a web platform that used by colleges, libraries, museums, and historical societies. And I volunteered, and they put up $600 for me to do that. So I took the course in was it April, Dan?
Yeah, it was sometime last spring.
Yeah, and that began the journey, which I mean, a website is kind of like a bulletin board. It hopefully continues to grow and change, somewhat. So, but it's been a journey, and I've had a lot of fun with it. I've done a lot of research for my writing and my articles, and so I've been able to kind of put up the best of that. And we have two ladies uploading pictures, antique and contemporary. We've got, a lot of nature, being uploaded, new documents that people are contributing now that we'll upload. So it's been a work in progress.
The roots of this effort go back quite a lot farther. There was an excellent historical book written about Big Moose Lake. It was published perhaps, I'm going to say maybe 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And Big Moose is our neighbor, our little lake. It's 3 or 4 miles away. And I think people on our lake said we should be doing something like that. And for about perhaps 10 years, people have been trading around outlines for books and gathering material. But it was moving the next step was looking a little difficult. And the idea of taking all this material, a great deal of which was just collecting dust at the bottom of somebody's trunk somewhere, but getting it somewhere where we could all look at it, uh, gave a real shot in the arm to this effort. And also, having all this information now online and readily researched has made the process of putting together a book much, much easier than going from camp to camp and source to source to say, hey, can you make a copy of this for me? The
Yeah.
copies are all there.
Yeah, yeah. In some ways, I mean, this is sort of the age of people, looking into their genealogy and their ancestry. And in some ways, this website feels like a genealogy website for specifically Twitchell Lake.
That's a good point. And several of our members of our committee are uh, Ancestry.com buffs, and so we have quite a, we've been digging into the early guides and fishermen and sportsmen and women, and Dr. William Seward Webb and Earl Covey, who is sort of a known builder, kind of a unique builder in this part of the Adirondacks. So, yeah, so I've done a lot with Ancestry.com, and we've got quite a, family tree, Twitchell family tree, you might say.
Well, so you said, Dan, that things had been coming together for upwards of 10 years, and some of them gathering dust at the bottom on the bottoms of trunks and in file cabinets in places. When you set about to organize all of this, what did you find that was missing that you still needed to bring together to really paint a coherent picture of Twitchell Lake and its history?
It's interesting. There's been a lot of work done on relatively early Adirondack history that Noel, as our kind of chief historian, has been able to pull out and piggyback on. And my experience in trying to pull together the book is that the 19th century wasn't too hard to do. Dr. Webb, who built the famous Mohawk and Malone Railroad, has books written about him and scores of articles. We could find information about early guides and early settlers. As you get into the 20th century, it's been a bit more of a project for us. And I think to do the 20th century well is going to require a lot of collaboration from people who may not remember the first half of the 20th century, certainly, but who may remember stories that their parents told. And so that contemporary history is easy. We're actually only trying to bring this story up to maybe the early 60s, and we'll let another generation write the history from after that. It's been a challenge to get that sort of first half of the 20th century and to fill in those pieces, and we're working around that problem.
One thing that Dan asked me to do to kind of fill in a gap in the history is to look at minutes of our Twitchell Lake Association and kind of track the water situation. Twitchell Lake is a pristine lake, but what it turns out, I wrote an article, Twitchell's Troubled Waters, because in the 50s, Twitchell Lake was so polluted with E. coli bacteria that I got a boil every summer from swimming, and two of them I had to have lanced in a hospital. Um, what we discovered, so one of our great volunteers, we tell the story of John Miller, who put together an effort to check septic systems around the lake and to get people to voluntarily. Five or six of the septic systems ran right into the lake, and so that was cleaned up. Ann LaBastille, who's a member of the Twitchell Lake community, was part of that effort, particularly on acid rain. So today, as a result of their efforts and maybe 100 volunteers around the lake, you can drink Twitchell Lake water. You can put the glass in and drink it without any fear. So that's just a great part of our story. And Forever Wild. We're all committed to Forever Wild in the Adirondacks and to clean water. Cleaning up our water, and so I'm very proud of that.
Noel mentioned Earl Covey, whose name is well known in our area. He was a self-taught builder, a hotel keeper, and his piece de resistance as a builder is the Big Moose Community Chapel, which is on the Register of Historic Places and a place that is much visited. We have tours there every Tuesday afternoon, and but one of the things that the Earl Covey connection keeps reminding us is that there are people who aren't living anywhere near Twitchell Lake who know about Twitchell Lake. Covey relatives show up absolutely all the time saying it was, my great uncle was Earl Covey and I want to see this. I want to see this church, or I want to go to Twitchell Lake because I've heard about how he built his hotel there around the turn of the last century. And this effort has been just seeded with that kind of interest. We put stuff up on our Facebook page, or the Big Moose Facebook page, and we hear from people who say, "Oh, I'm really interested in your project because 50 years ago I tried to buy a camp on Twitchell and I never did, but I still come there to kayak." Or,
To
"My great
fish.
uncle
Yeah.
was the one who built this camp." So it's been a wonderful way to see how the Adirondack communities are connected with each other in ways we don't know.
Is it a defining characteristic of the Twitchell Lake community that people are interested in this history?
I suspect, Mitch, that if you went to any lake in the Adirondacks, you would find a strong strain of this kind of interest. And the reason is that for so many people, the Adirondacks is personal history. It's the camp that my great grandfather built. It's the place my family always came in August. And because it has, well, we all know and love the Adirondacks, right? And what a special place it is. But it has a special place in the heart for lots of people. And I think one way to honor that feeling is to try to tell the story and to share the story. So I would bet that there isn't a lake in the Adirondacks that doesn't have a group that is interested in following its history. And I will volunteer Noel, if anybody is listening to your podcast, Mitch, as a great source on how you go about organizing and making available what, as I was saying, people have stuffed away in old trunks or up in the attic somewhere.
The cabin, there's a log cabin which Earl Covey built that has been in my family since 1921. And I went on a kind of ancestry.com, a search of my family tree to find out how on earth did the Sherrys inherit this log cabin. And after about a year of research, it unfolded as a love story of my grandfather Norman Sherry meeting Lucretia Hayes, whose father was a trout fisherman and discovered Twitchell Lake as a great place to catch trout. Coming to the Twitchell Lake Inn for years, and Lucretia, his daughter, invited my grandfather Norman to come up. They met at a wedding near Buffalo. So I kind of put together this mysterious connection, and there it was. My great grandmother Ellen Hayes commissioned Earl Covey to build her a camp and a guest camp, and our camp now is the guest camp to the main camp. So we have this over about 100 years of history, six generations who have come to Twitchell and learned how to swim there, and learn how to row a boat, learn how to sail, learn how to to hike, wildflowers, just so many discoveries, and so it's part of my soul now. It's really a kind of a deep commitment.
Well, and Dan, how did you first come to Twitchell Lake?
Well, it's another Adirondack story. I was a camp counselor in a summer camp over in number 4, and I knew the area of the Adirondacks around Stillwater Reservoir and so on. And I reached a point in my life where I felt I needed to put some roots down. I was living and working overseas, but my wife and I had grown up camping in the Adirondacks. So I just started looking around, and somebody showed me a camp that was falling down on Twitchell Lake, and I said maybe I can save it. So my history is not anywhere near as rich, well, maybe as rich as Knowles, but it's not as deep. I came to Twitchell in the early '90s. Doesn't make me an old timer yet.
I was just going to ask whether Noel, you still refer to Dan as a newcomer or a newbie.
No, no, not at all. In fact, I mean, Dan has brought a lot to the lake. He's a into music and drama, and him and his wife host a poetry potluck every 4th of July that he's got about 30 of us on the lake writing poetry. And in fact, it was publishing one of the poems that I wrote for that event that got me into connected with John Warren and starting to research publishing my history. So Dan has brought a lot to the lake, and we talk about our pioneers and our the early guides, and we have two early guides who were purchased lots from Dr. William Seward Webb back at the turn of the 1900s. But I don't, yeah, we do have old timers, but no, I don't see that distinction.
Noel, did I see? Was there a point at which you were known as the poet laureate of Twitchell Lake?
Yes, so Dan started that tradition. We have how many years now? Is it 17, Dan?
It's pushing 20.
Pushing 20 poet laureates. So it's a poet laureate who kind of wins wins the vote every 4th of July. And I think I have two of those, two of the hats. I'm not the,
These are
yeah,
hats
so
made of,
it's,
of aluminum cans.
oh, yeah. So did you see that on the
I
website?
saw that on the website. This was the one of you had it was made of cans of tab.
Tab, just an outrageous craft project that somebody put together one summer. And no, we don't even know who made it, but it became the poet laureate hat, and so we all compete for it.
What's your ultimate hope for this website?
Yeah, so for me, just telling our story, encouraging people to the idea of forever wild, which is uh, part of the essence of the Adirondacks. This is kind of our witness or testimony to for Forever Wild, cleaning up the water. We have a retired a biology professor from Hamilton College, Ernest Williams, who has published a great book on nature. And he does a nature page. All of his pages are now up on the website. So just telling our story, interesting people in flora and fauna, in the loons. We have a focus on loons, on monarch butterflies, and so just encouraging our lake people, but Adirondackers in general, and anyone who comes onto the website to take an interest in nature and wildflowers and forever wild, and keeping this not losing this heritage. I haven't uploaded it yet, but I've done quite a bit of work on logging in the Adirondacks. Both the good side, we had two lumber camps in the 1870s and one in the 1890s that got close to Twitchell Lake. Twitchell was isolated because it was 6 miles south of the access to the north and 6 miles north of the Fulton Chain access. So we didn't get logged or developed till late. And but keeping that heritage and protecting it and telling the story of logging, both its good side and its dark side. That would be maybe Dan can address it as well, but that would be some of my goals for the website.
The other thing I think that makes these efforts interesting, I guess I'm sense that people are a little less connected around the lakes than they used to be. And that's because of lifestyle changes, largely. Historically, Twitchell wasn't a fancy lake like, one of the like Saranac or something. And it was middle class people from Rome and Utica and Syracuse and other places in upstate were most of the camp owners. And those were the days with stay-at-home moms. So mom would come up to the lake with the kids and spend the whole summer there. And there
Yeah.
was a whole community of children who grew up playing together all summer. Dad would commute back and forth from Utica or Rome or Herkimer or wherever he was coming from on the
Or New
weekend.
York City.
Yeah, and it was a yeah, because they could take the train, and there was a rich sense of connection amongst those people, and they had a very rich social life as a result. They kept track of each other all year long, and we can't turn back the clock, but I think that we can build tools that will make the people who are sharing space in the Adirondacks with each other feel a bit more connected to each other, or at least be interested in how the people before them got together for, campfire singing
Square
and
dancing.
Right.
skits and all that kind of thing. So adding some connectedness through this effort, I think, is great, and we'd like to keep that going for future generations.
Yeah, well said, Dan.
Well, at its heart, it seemed, at least just from listening to the two of you, it seems like this was fun to do.
Absolutely. So I'm semi-retired as a pastor and a teacher, and for me, this is the project that's just enlivened and enriched this chapter of my life, being able to contribute to this community effort and to create a resource that's going to live on. Oh yeah, it's a highlight for me.
Just working with a committee of people who are interested in this is a delight. And everybody brings insight and memories and ideas about how we can share these things to the common effort. So that feels pretty good.
And it's worth noting that, you know, a website is not a static thing. And so I'm sure you are continually still collecting stories and documents and other resources that if they're not a part of it now, they will be in the future.
Yeah, definitely. I have a part of the website is one of the exhibits, one of the pages in the exhibit is about, I've called it campfire stories. So we've recorded, 1, 2 minute stories about, bear hunting or, different adventures, different human interest stories that are there. So, and we're hoping that people will then contribute, their own stories that are, kind of typed up and posted. We'll edit them, kind of review them. But so just so to keep the stories coming.
I would add to that with the website's just gone live as of the first of the year, we've been playing around with it in a kind of a beta version. But I suspect that with the website live and the invitation on the website to share material, that Noel is going to be buried with material that he'll need to load up over the next few months.
Yeah, I've just been offered by one of our lake members contemporary pictures of an annual hike. There's a group of Twitchell Lakers that actually hike annually from Twitchell over to Beaver River, that isolated hamlet on Stillwater that you can't reach except by railroad or boat or hike. And so she's got just a ton of pictures, particularly of our younger set that have taken that hike and connected. So she's going to send me those pictures. I'm going to upload them onto the website. So that'll be trying to relate to the our Gen Xers and our newer generation to invite them to get them involved in the whole effort because I am an old timer, by age and by time on the lake.
As a Gen Xer, I appreciate that there are still people out there that think of me as young. Well, it's really amazing work. You should be really. It sounds like you are, but you should be really happy with the results, and I hope it just grows from here. Noel Sherry and Dan Conable, thank you both so much for telling the story of Twitchell Lake and the Twitchell Lake website.
Yeah, definitely come and visit and contribute. Thanks, Mitch.
And I want to say, Mitch, thanks for NCPR for doing this for all of us around the Adirondacks. We really appreciate you guys and what you do, and we'll fill the gap on your finance.
Well, we appreciate that. We've been really kind of our sense of mission has never been stronger, and we're so grateful for your support and for so many people who have either increased their gifts or made their first gift ever. So it's been really heartwarming, even as it's been challenging.
Keep up the good work.
Dan Conable and Noel Sherry are two of the people behind the new website about Twitchell Lake. You'll find a link to it and a really nice photo that Noel Sherry took of Twitchell Lake at ncpr.org/northwards. Ethan Shanty is back in the studio with us, as is NCPR's Catherine Wheeler, and we were talking about T-shirts before we
and deviled eggs
and deviled eggs, right?
An unfortunate lack of a deviled egg talk throughout that conversation.
Yeah, sadly, deviled eggs did not come up, nor did whether the question that I always wonder whether there is some kind of overlap between deviled eggs and deviled ham.
What makes a ham deviled?
I don't know.
I don't know.
There is a such thing as deviled ham.
I don't know what is like deviling.
Ethan is
to devil.
Googling that. In the meantime, while he looks that up, no, it's too late.
Is it just like it's sinful? So delicious.
Like devil's food
sinful. Yeah.
Right.
Which, let's stop shaming food like that. Why are we why are we calling things devilish?
Well, that means that you're putting a value judgment on
exactly.
the devil. And, maybe there are people out there that are okay with
Okay, so deviled ham
Open
apparently is a dip made from finely chopped ham. So maybe that's what makes a deviled egg because it's like a dip that you put kind of back into the hole that was left by the yolk.
I don't want to assume that.
Okay.
I don't like knowing that's what deviled ham is.
What makes a food deviled? Google minus AI, thank you. Deviled foods used to pack a flavor punch. Okay.
I honestly bet
Thank
there is
you,
a.
AI.
I bet there is
really
a
helpful.
beautiful and rich history of the deviled egg, and that should be the next Northwards.
That should.
As long as we can find a North Country deviled egg expert.
We should actually
deviled
try.
expert.
You could get on to deviled egg flights, but it would just be your
Well, we were talking about this before.
hard-boiled egg flights. I guess.
My thought was, I am okay with all the various things that go into a deviled egg.
Oh,
if
yeah.
you set the white part in a separate plate, and then the mustard, and then the mayonnaise, I would eat each of those individually. But the sum of the parts, I'm much less a fan of.
Do you freak out when your peas touch your potatoes on your dinner plate?
No.
So the only reason I now eat deviled eggs, because I didn't like hard-boiled eggs for most of my life until a few months ago, but I got embarrassed about that fact.
By whom?
You got embarrassed about not liking
Society.
hard-boiled eggs?
Yeah, you don't have foods you're embarrassed not to like.
No, because the foods that I like are the foods that I don't like are disgusting, like shrimp.
Oh my gosh, that's my 2026 food to like.
We
I'm
talked
going to
about
teach
this
myself
earlier.
to like shrimp.
Oh,
this year.
I've got a mental block. I can't get over the fact that they're like disgusting little sea cockroaches.
And like they
I love
just are
shrimp.
like kind of cold hot dogs, essentially.
Ugh, I love a hot dog though.
You
So,
know,
what,
that I
what
know.
does that say
On
about
my
me?
way to work this morning, I was listening to, believe it or not, another podcast where
About
the fact
shrimp?
came. No, well, funny you should mention that. The fact came up that in 2013 there was a European football player for a second or third division team in Norway who transferred to another team, and when that happens, the first team gets a transfer fee to make it happen.
Okay.
And the team he was going to was required to pay the first team the player's weight in shrimp.
You know the rapper DMX? Either
Not
of you?
personally.
Well, not personally.
Sure.
He's dead.
Not in the biblical sense.
The look on Catherine's face. I heard this. We're going to wrap this podcast up after
So
I
to
tell you
speak.
this story. I heard this story about DMX, who is a famous rapper who's now dead. And he used to go to restaurants and order as much shrimp as he could possibly eat and then immediately go to the emergency room so he could get a shot because he was deathly allergic to shrimp. And when one of his friends questioned him about it, he was like, I have all the money in the world and I love the taste of shrimp. Why wouldn't I do this? I can afford to go to the hospital.
That was actually a plot point in the remake of The War of the Roses.
Oh, yeah.
With
I saw that.
Benedict Cumberbatch
Really?
and the woman.
The plot point is
Olivia
that
Colman.
Olivia Colman.
the
Thank
plot
you
is
very
that
much.
DMX makes so much money that he
No,
goes to
that
the
Olivia
emergency room
Colman
after.
really loved the taste of
Raspberries?
raspberries, and so she would gorge herself as long as Benedict Cumberbatch was nearby with an EpiPen.
Which isn't how allergies work.
No.
And also how EpiPens kind of don't work either. But
And I wasn't really thrilled with the movie anyway. I think the previous.
I saw it as an alternate universe where if like my mom had actually stayed home and my dad had gone to work, that's what my life what my life could have been. But
And with that, we come to the end of another edition of Northwards. Ethan Shanty, do you want to share who brings this show together and makes it all possible for you and me?
I would love to. Northwards is an NCPR podcast production. The show is written, produced, and edited by Mitch Tyke with digital production supervision by me. I'm Ethan Shanty. Bill Hanel is our digital guy. Caitlin Kelly handles our social media. And our theme music is by the Wickmore Jazz Trio of Plattsburgh. To find out more about the show and to support it with a gift, visit ncpr.org/northwards. This is NCPR, North Country Public Radio.